lane 4 and the Russians in lane 6. Those crews look good in the preliminaries, so they're the ones to watch in the final here. You did mention earlier, though, Matthew, about Adam Van Koeverden not being in the K1, and he is there in the K2 with Brady Reardon. And again, early in the quadrennial, good chance to try out some crew opportunities and just kind of get a break from the intensity of racing K1.
And for those two, it must be difficult because they've only known each other 20 years or so.
Yeah, that's right. They're good friends, and they both paddle at the Burloak Canoe Club in Ontario. And so they train a lot together. Of course, Brady's been there for Adam to push him in training. But Brady's a great paddler in his own right in K1. He did very well at our selection trials and coming second to Adam. And of course, that makes for a great K2.
At the risk of being an idiot, Adam's in the front of the boat and he's got a very slow stroke rate normally. Is that a challenge, or does Brady have to adapt, or does Adam have to speed up?
Well, no, good point. I think largely Brady has to adapt, and the key is that Brady's getting the same impulse on the paddle as Adam would be. So, the point is he can't cut off a stroke or anything. He has to make sure that he's getting every ounce of pressure on the blade throughout the same stroke distance that Adam is.
Teams from the Czech Republic, Serbia, Russia, Czech again, the Germans of Reinschmidt and Gross, who are part of the K4 team, Russia in lane 6, Medvedev and Rykov, who had some really good results in the last few years. Then we have Lithuania, Belarus, and I've just mentioned the Canadians. Here's the second Russian team. But Rykov and Medvedev, they slowed right down in their heat to end yesterday, and they when they want to, they can put some really good results in. They only came 6th in London, but they've been around a long time. Medvedev for 29, Rykov for 32. He's actually born in Uzbekistan, but they'll probably be putting some good stuff in there.
Well, for sure, and of course you never know exactly what happened in the heats and semis sometimes and who's holding back, so the seeding isn't perfect, but we get a good shot here at the German crew in lane 5 who got off the line as the top seed. Also, the Serbians, a great start for them as well in lane 2.
Well, they had a good week last week, didn't they? They won many. They won the K4s, they won the K1s. So something is going right in the Serbian setup. As we see, 42 seconds gone, and it's the young Germans at the moment. It's Max Reinschmidt and Marcus Gross who are leading it out.
Yeah, they got off the line very nicely. And the key is, once you get off the line, is to get into a good, comfortable travel stroke, something that's not going to build up too much lactic acid in the muscles. You want to be able to pace yourself to the point where you can still make a move, or I guess more specifically, decelerate less than the other competitors in that last 200 meters.
But we are racing. You're coming direct from Racice. The weather's improving every minute. There's going to be no more rain, we think. The sun's going to be coming out in an hour's time, and there's a bit of a tailwind, so it's great conditions at the moment. Halfway through the course, and it's leading from the first paddle stroke. It's the Germans in lane number 5.
They look very relaxed coming through the 500.
Pajić and Stanojević from Serbia looking good at the top, and also we've got the Lithuanians in action. So it's if they come second and third, it's going to be a nightmare to pronounce, but it's going to be good for them.
Yeah. Well, we almost have 2 races going on here. There's those 3 crews at the front there that are leading, and then the rest of the pack is bunched up there. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th is going to be the race to watch.
You think the Germans already got it?
Well, I don't know if they've got it, but they're certainly looking like they're in a race with the Serbs.
The Germans, they had a very reduced team there last week. They had quite a few of the big boats apparently who were out practicing. They've got a little bit more out this week, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so far we've got 250 meters to go. Germany, Serbia, Lithuania and Russia so far.
And the Lithuanian crew is really making a move now. They challenge for second.
Great picture there. We can actually see from the cable cam, you can actually see pretty much who's in it at the moment.
And look at that other Russian crew in lane 6 moving.
But the Germans, right from the start, they've been controlling their race, haven't they?
They really have, and as we talked about early on in the race, they got very relaxed after the start and really pacing themselves nicely. Very consistent race for them.
40 meters to go, and it's going to be close. We've seen that the Germans are going to hold on, but in lane 2 we have the Serbians really putting in a great race also, and in lane number 6 it's going to be third place for the Russians.
Very nice move by the Russians there late in the race.
Didn't talk much about them, but I'd say they're one of the pedigree teams, so they are pretty good performance there.
Absolutely. You know, as we said though early on there, sometimes crews like the Russians with all their experience and maybe just take a little time through the heats to make sure they qualify, and then they put the big race together where it matters most in the final.
Well, Rykov has won 9 World Championship medals. He's been there all, and they came 8th in there in the K4 1000 in the Olympic Games, and so they've been around the block.
Well, when you only have so much energy, you want to use it where it's most effective. It's all about winning for these guys.
So to be not being negative, but then in the first 4 races we've seen so far, you've been able to call the winner from the last 100 meters, 150 meters. Do you think that's going to continue throughout the weekend?
I don't know. I think I got lucky, but I think the point is that those crews that we saw that had just didn't have the lead, but they also looked very comfortable. Their rates were under control, and they looked strong. I think it was more like I felt they wouldn't die so much as a crew that was really struggling to hang on.
And how much